Evening it up. 2-2. I got to be honest, I didn't think we would be here after watching the first two games. So I have to say I'm impressed, but very excited for a fifth game to come through here. Atlas touched on it really quickly, the Orianna. But I actually want to talk about the person playing Orianna this time, because we gave Link some flack in the first couple games for mistakes he was making. He looks so much more comfortable on this Orianna pick.
I think Link is just known for Ori. Like, I don't even think Ori is his best champion, or he didn't begin with Ori being his best champion, because he used to be playing a lot of other things in solo queue, like he'd spam like Nidalee, like Ezreal, stuff like that. And Ori was something that he had picked up and learned throughout the years of being on CLG, because it's the perfect CLG champion. It is a very support tower like mid laner that has like utility and provides CC and can pretty much split even against any laner in the game. And so I feel like his Ori throughout the years is his most comfortable champion, even though it may not be his best starting. It may be his best now. I definitely think that it showed, especially last game. Like that flank play just won them the game. But even though they were kind of already going there, it didn't win them the game.
And then in the support role, especially, we saw that Janna picked up. We don't see that very often. So talk to me a little bit about why that was picked into a Braum of all things, because a lot of times there are other picks left open that we would have seen prior to a Janna in any other match.
I was a bit surprised by the Janna pick, but Janna is a strong pick against Braum, especially because just all her spells just don't really get negated too much by Braum, and her ult is really strong too. Janna is a strong champion, but obviously there are some supports that you don't want to pick her into, but Braum is one of those that do really well, or that Janna does really well against. And Afro played it really, really well. He went for the Magi's build that a lot of people have been using, and he had made some pretty good plays, and they were just dominating the bot lane, which is the biggest key to that pick.
So they did dominate the bot lane. I am going to set up a little scene here, so everybody stick with me for just a moment. Earlier, at the very beginning of the game, we saw Curse Academy attempt an invade and then get distracted by Doublelift being in the river. They ended up blowing the flash. Now, most people would think, oh, they got a flash. This is fabulous. Scarra, you had a pretty good explanation as to why it wasn't going to turn into anything through the beginning parts of the game. If you could just explain for that, I think it's a pretty interesting scenario.
I think it was really necessary to get the buff there, because the buff was more important than harassing Doublelift. Doublelift was a distraction, and they actually fell for the bait. Because what happens is, you already know Elise started on red side, so she's ending on if it was normal, she'd end on her blue. And so if you take her blue, you force her to either react and take your blue and cut her off from the bot side of the map, so you control the bot jungle, or you just rebuff her. And either way is more beneficial to you. And if you don't take blue buff and you're still forced to go bottom, Saint can't go bottom because he ends his route top lane. He'd have to end at blue and then go back bottom. So blowing the flash didn't necessarily lose them anything in the lane. Like, they would have to play aggressive to make the flash matter, and they couldn't play aggro with a jungler ending bot anyways.
Right, so Elise was going to end up down there. They had to be concerned that she would walk into lane for, counter play, whereas the Kha'Zix was up top lane. So a little, it's very interesting when you break the game down into those nuances where that can actually make a huge difference in the game. I do want to jump 14 minutes into the game for a replay here. Pretty spectacular Janna play by Afro. We're going to pull it up in Scarra. I'm going to let you take this one.
Okay, the number one thing I dislike about Janna players is that typically a lot of Janna players aren't aggressive. Like, this champion has a lot of playmaking ability, but it's very easy for you to just take a step back and just kite backwards. Here, Afro sees a possible play, and he just goes in for it. Really, really good setup to start the teamfight for him. And he gets the team fight started for his team. And that's like the very, very important thing. And although, yeah, maybe that TP was really bad, they definitely could have gotten something out of that even if the TP didn't come in.
There was a dragon fight soon after where we saw Doublelift also get pretty aggressive, and we saw those shields come through with the Lulu ultimate, which was fabulous. I do want to now move forward to highlight Link's play, which we already touched on, but let's go 23 minutes into the game in the top lane. We see a fantastic setup for a flank here. Xpecial, you've got this one.
Well, so Curse Academy, they're fairly desperate at this point, and they need to make a play. So they have Far Ward that Curse actually TPs to, and it's actually a really good flank. But unfortunately, they don't have enough damage for this to turn out into a good situation. You see Orianna coming in from the mid lane, and they try to go for a kill. The CC was slightly misplaced, and they couldn't kill Double in time before not only Lulu TP, but Orianna's already flanking. And here, Curse Academy realizes that they're kind of screwed. They need to run away. but Orianna is right behind them, and they can't really engage. And Orianna gets a really good 3-man ult, and basically this game is over. They are going to get aced, lose 4 or 5 people, and CLG is going to be able to do Baron. And that's really what sealed the game for them. And it was really good flank by Link, and a really good play by CLG.
It was close to, I think, a 15k gold lead coming off of the back end of that Baron. So at that point, pretty much a lost game for Curse Academy. So in those moments, when you are on the losing end of a game, but you still have some time, Xpecial, what are the discussions like over comms about the next game? You know, is it at what point during the game is it time to look forward and start talking about the next one?
It depends on the team. I think for a lot of teams, they want to be able to say they think they're 10k, 15k go down. They're probably going to be like, all right, guys, let's try to focus on next game, figure out picks and bans, and just do it even during the game. You're probably not going to win this current game, so focus on the next game. And that's the stuff that you kind of need to do if your mindset is to win the series and not to just try to stall out the game. And I hope Curse Academy, they have a plan now, and they should be able to execute it. And really, I think they need to focus on their bot lane. They're having troubles down there, and they need to be able to at least get to lane on time. In the last game, they got to lane late. Even though they blew double his flash, they weren't able to get a push going, and they were just constantly harassed and constantly forced back. And you don't want to have that happen again.
All right, assuming both teams do come in with a game plan and execute it, which of these teams do you think is moving to the LCS? Is CLG sticking around, or is Curse Academy getting promoted?
I think CLG is sticking around, and I said CLG at the start of the program, but it's more important because throughout the series, the main thing that I've learned is that, like obviously CLG's bot lane is their strong point, and Curse Academy's bot lane just can't match up. And typically when this happens, you dodge the bot lane, you 1v2. But CLG has shown that on every 1v2, they've come out way on top. So it's no longer possible for them to 1v2. And they can't 2v2 successfully either. So you have to find a different way to pull it out. And in the 4 games, I haven't seen a way for them to do it. Like I've seen CLG like not execute team fights, like them losing team fights, but in terms of like early game strategy and getting into the mid game, and every single game I've pretty much seen CLG getting ahead.
Xpecial?
Well, I think CLG is looking a little bit stronger, but I would say Curse Academy still has a good shot. They really need to buckle down and just figure out what's been going on wrong, and they need to fix it. They need to fix these mistakes and do it fast. And I believe in them. They have the potential to. So let's see it.
I like it. Well, CLG definitely has the momentum to take a comeback Game 5. And Game 5 is coming up soon, where both teams' hopes for the next season are just 1 win away. So don't miss it. We'll be back soon.
The focus of his tirade. Look at this guy. So many shields. There's the wild growth as well. They've wasted everything on double lift. He's still on half health. CLG's here. Link's on the other side. 3 more. Shockwave. The dissonance destroying the AD carry. And now anything could happen. Double lift wants more kills.